Hello, my name is Raquel Ark, and I am your host for the Listening Superpower podcast. And today we are going to talk about the power of listening, but in a different way than probably what you expect. We're going to talk about power, and the difference of types of power that listening brings. Before we do that, I'll ask you to take a moment to subscribe to the podcast, to share the podcast with people that you know, or even comment in anything that you see on social media relating to the podcast, so that we can spread the word about listening. And the more that you subscribe, the more people will be able to listen to this podcast and hopefully will grow this movement of listening in the world. I would really appreciate it. So, I've been doing a lot of thinking about listening and power, the value of listening, and what is interesting to pay attention to that often in the business world, we value speaking over listening. We have more money invested in speaker training and how to speak clearly or how to write clearly. There's a lot more money invested in this, and you don't see people or companies investing that often on listening training, even though little by little it's starting to get more attention. But even in performance reviews and in decision making, notice the value of speaking, people who speak versus the people who listen, observe, and reflect back. Start noticing the difference there. And often more value is given to speaking just because it's spoken out loud. And there's been a lot of research that shows that decisions are based on what is said out loud. So even for those people who may have information, but just they think everybody else knows it, they don't say it out loud, or they don't think that their opinion is important, we're missing out on really important information. So think about the leaders who have had influence on you in a powerful way, and the ones who have helped you grow to develop in your profession, the ones that have helped projects move forward, that have been successful and where people feel good about them. Think about that and notice, how did listening and how did speaking play a role with this person or with this team? Notice that, because often listening is so quiet, we miss out on the value that it brings. So once you start paying attention, you'll start to notice that the true power of effective leadership lies in listening, which is often an overlooked skill or capacity that we have or that's important to develop. So while listening may seem really simple, once people dive into it, and I will tell you this for myself, it is not easy. The more I have learned and practiced listening, the more I've realized there's so much more to it, and the more that I don't know. And we didn't get taught listening in school. And yet, whether people listen to us or they don't listen to us has a profound impact on who we are and what we do. So I like to say that listening is not just a soft skill, it's a power skill. It's a transformative force that shapes the way leaders like you, like me, connect, inspire, and lead. So when you notice the leadership that you have experienced on the spectrum that I was just talking about, and who has inspired you to perform and feel your best. On the one hand, there's this autocratic, dominance-based leadership where people have a hammer, they pound it down, do what I say, comply with me. That's a very extreme this way. And then there's the type of power that is what they call prestige power. And this is power that pulls and draws people in. It encourages them to follow, but not because they have to, but because they want to. So this type of power is earned by trust, by respect, and more often than not, some level of listening. And I say some level because it could be one-on-one listening. It could be listening at scale through surveys, through feedback, but there's some cycle of listening where something is taken in and there's a response in relation to what has been listened to. So notice the spectrum. Obviously, often we have both. And, sometimes some type of power is needed, like in a crisis situation, for example, or something short term. Sometimes this autocratic type of power is needed because we just have to take care of something. But if you're looking for the mid or long term, or you want to build trust, or you want people to feel good over time and to be productive over time, then this prestige power can have more long-term impact. So what research is showing, and some of the resources, I'll put some of the resources where I got these in the notes in the podcast. I did get some of this, what I'm sharing with you from research that was done by Deloitte. And I also took research from a meta-analysis that Dr. Kluger and Guy Etchakov did in 2022. So I'll add those links to this podcast if you want to read through these resources more in detail. But the research supports that there is a shift at this point in time towards prestige leadership. I know in the news you see a lot of things about this autocratic leadership, but in general, people are preferring and moving towards this prestige leadership. It's just not as loud as the autocratic leadership. So studies from universities across the globe are showing that while dominance can help leaders climb the organizational ladder, the prestige-based leadership is actually what helps an organization with long-term success and stability. So there are more collaborative work environments that are increasing, where you have cross-functional teams that are becoming the norm. And leaders who listen more effectively so that they can inspire and guide their teams. And research is showing that when listening is brought into teams, then those leaders are able to affect their teams in ways where they have more success and they feel better. Well-being goes up. The sense of belonging goes up. So listening enables leaders to create this environment of trust and autonomy, which those two basic elements are so important for any team's success. And for organizations that are maturing digitally, 69% of cross-functional teams are given considerable autonomy in achieving their goals, compared to the 38% in the early stage companies. So this autonomy is fostered by leaders who listen, who understand, and support their teams rather than dictating every move. I think we've had a couple of other podcasts, and I've interviewed some of the tech leaders, who are more in this world, and you'll notice that this message has come out. We can add some of those podcasts to these notes too, where you get specific examples on how leaders in these environments are bringing listening into their teams and into their leadership roles. So let's just look at listening from this aspect of prestige power, this ability to lead in a way where people want to follow you, they're inspired by you. Even for those of you, I know so many people who don't necessarily want to be a leader, but they're in those leadership positions. And hey, leading from your more quiet, listening, observing way does have power that can bring success. It can transform your leadership into a more inclusive, engaging type of process. So that's why sometimes you get this positive feedback that you don't expect and you're surprised by. For those of you, I've heard this often. Because we assume we have to be this commanding from above, that those types of people are able to build stronger and more cohesive teams. But instead, it's the listening leader. So these teams that have listening are more innovative, they're more productive, and they're more committed to achieving shared goals. So listening is not just a tool. It's not just a tool. It's actually really cool. It's this high value currency that can transform organizations and really drive the sustained success. The thing is, you got to pay attention and be able to track the power of it. We don't usually think about measuring the listening piece. And I'll do another segment on ways that you can measure listening. So as you consider the type of listening that can drive your team forward, that can drive your organization forward, that can drive you and your growth forward, remember, listening is not a soft skill. It's a power skill. It's the difference between a leader who commands and a leader who inspires. The leaders who listen are the ones who are going to lead us into the future. This is Raquel Ark with the Listening Superpower podcast. Remember to subscribe to this podcast. We have wonderful interviews with experts across the world in business, in research, in academia, all over the place. And they can be an impulse or a catalyst to ideas that may support you on your listening journey. Enjoy listening in.